Good afternoon and welcome to Speaking About. My name is Haywood Fennell. This program is brought to you by Triad Veterans League Incorporated. We're really happy to be here on August the 10th, 2018. Time is moving. Time does not wait for anybody. We have a special guest here today, but before we get into introducing this wonderful lady, we want to just remind folks that the Veterans and Friends of the General Edward O. Gordine Statue Project is currently planning, working hard to raise the necessary funds to put that statue right down there across the street from Area B2 in the little park there known as General Edward O. Gordine Park. And today, August the 10th, is the General's birthday. And I want to salute him and all the veterans and all my colleagues that are working hard to bring this statue into Roxbury so that we can build veterans' presence, their contributions, and the sacrifices that were made since the American Revolution. This is Speaking About, and we are now getting ready to talk about something that is of dire importance to our entire city. We have with us today Rachael Rollins, Rachael Rollins, who is going to tell us a little bit about herself and what she's trying to do to become the district attorney. And I didn't get the chance to do the research that I needed to do, but has there ever been a female district attorney for Suffolk County?
Never in Suffolk. Middlesex has had Martha Coakley and then Marion Ryan. But Suffolk has never had a woman.
So what are you doing now to get known, and what is it that you're telling the people about yourself?
Sure. And I should just look right at him, or should I look straight ahead? I will look right ahead. So first and foremost, thank you very much for having me on. I am the proud daughter of a Vietnam veteran, and on my father's side, we have World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. So the work you're doing with veterans is very important.
Thank you.
I am doing everything I can to get known in the community. We have a beautiful, vibrant headquarters right in Hyde Square, and we are at 376 Center Street. I am the only candidate that has shown up at every single forum we've had, that has answered every single questionnaire. We have a really great momentum right now, Haywood, in that people are excited about this race, and I'm excited to say they are happy with what I'm proposing. I am telling people three things: experience, leadership, and perspective matter, and I believe I have all three.
Where did you go to school?
So I was born in Boston. I'm 47 years old. I was born and lived on Harlem Street in Dorchester. I went to Castle Square. Actually, I don't know. I was just at an event with the mayor at Castle Square. It's very different now than it was almost 43 years ago. And then I'm the product of a biracial marriage. My dad is Irish American. My mom is West Indian. And Boston was not the welcoming place it is now for interracial couples.
Wait a minute, you said your father is a Vietnam era veteran and he's Irish?
He is an Irish American man, yeah.
And your mother?
Her family's from Barbados.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's something right there.
There's something wonderful right there. Yeah. I have the blessing of people thinking I'm almost everything, or wherever I am, they think that's where I'm from. So I'm biracial, I'm a black woman, but my dad is an Irish man.
Yes, indeed.
So, so I grew up and spent my formative years in Cambridge, but what's awesome is my mom's the oldest of 11, and all of her siblings lived in Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan. My dad's family is from South Boston, Roslindale.
Do they support you?
They all support me, yeah.
Right,
it's wonderful. It was tough in the beginning. My dad's family disowned him when he married my mother. But they are celebrating 48 years, and the family all came around. It was very different back then. And so, but I'm happy that I'm a product of a really multicultural family. I spent my formative years in Cambridge. I ended up at Buckingham, Brown and Nichols, which is a private school in Cambridge. We were on a scholarship to go there, and then I had an athletic scholarship to go to UMass Amherst, and then Northeastern Law and Georgetown Law. I did a program at Harvard Business School, so I have a lot of education.
How does all of that education fit into the dynamics of being a district attorney? And what would be your first 90 days? What would that look like?
Sure. So you have to be a lawyer in order to be the district attorney. I was fortunate enough to go to Northeastern, where I got some really great co-ops. They make sure that you learn how to do things and not just read about them as a student. I clerked on the Mass Appeals Court for the first black judge on the Mass Appeals Court, Frederick Brown, and I'm very proud of that. The year I clerked was when Roderick Ireland moved up to the SJC, becoming the first black justice in the history of our Commonwealth, one of the oldest states in the country, of course. And so I have experience in the work that the DA's office does. There's a lot of appeals that the office handles. I've done appellate work before. But I've also been a prosecutor for 7 years, mostly federal. I've been a criminal defense attorney as well. And I'm the oldest of 5. Sadly, I have siblings that have cycled in and out of the criminal justice system. I think that perspective I'm going to bring to this job. And my first 90 days, I think the root cause of a lot of the problems we have with law enforcement, and why Boston in particular, which is part of Suffolk County, is the worst in the country for unsolved homicides. We have over 1,000 unsolved homicides, and in black communities, you're 2 times less likely to have your homicide solved than a white person. It goes back to community relationships, and I think unfortunately the sitting DA has not done a good of a job as he could have in fostering relationships with the community.
Folks, we have here with us Rachael Rollins. She is running for the office, a very important office, district attorney of the city of Boston. Is like, it's time for a change, folks. That's the first thing. The other thing I want to say is that we did invite, and we still invite, the other candidates that are seeking the same office as our guest today to come on and be our guest and tell us why you think that you could do the job that needs to be done. And how do you do that contact-wise? 617-966-9594, or email me, Haywood Fennell @gmail.com. Haywood Fennell, one word, @gmail.com. And if the candidates are not looking, and you know some candidates, because I reached out to a couple of agencies that sponsored these forums, and maybe they're not like me, because I'm the email specialist. That's all I do, is get on you with my emails. Okay, right. Now, back to our guests. There's so much going on with these here appointments. If you become the district attorney, you're going to be working with our good friend, William Gross. We want to congratulate you officially from speaking about, because you work with our veterans, and we want to thank you for all that you've done and will do in your capacity as a commissioner. So many young people are incarcerated, and we see the education that they're receiving as just preparing them to become dropouts. What would be the district attorney's take on working with educators to try to fulfill their needs, so that they don't begin to think that they can become the smooth criminal?
Yeah. So we're at a really interesting time right now, in that you just mentioned Commissioner Gross was appointed by the mayor. The mayor put an interim new superintendent of schools in, and now we have an opportunity to have a district attorney, all within 3 months of each other, right? We're going to know September 4th, which is the date of the primary. There are 5 Democratic candidates. One of us will get out. I hope that's me. And then there's an independent former Republican waiting on the general November 6th. But this race, people are saying it's really a primary. The school to prison pipeline is where everything starts. And so this new criminal justice reform bill that was just passed into law by the governor, Governor Baker, I'm really proud to say Senator Brownsberger, who is one of the chief architects of this bill, has endorsed our campaign, has good language about stopping the school to prison pipeline, speaking directly to school resource officers, the police that are inside of the overwhelming majority of the Black and brown schools in Boston public schools. If you read the Globe or the paper, the Sunday Globe had a huge, I think the top article above the fold front page is Boston public schools are segregated.
Yeah, I saw that.
We're in 2018 and we pretty much have segregated schools. These aren't my words, this is the Boston Globe saying this.
Right.
And those segregated schools overwhelmingly are underperforming in the Black and brown communities. And so when we have systems that have failed our communities over and over and over again, poor education, terrible housing, bad health care, a criminal justice system that your communities are over-policed and over-prosecuted, people are being set up to fail. Okay. And what I am really tired of, very candidly, is having people that don't understand our communities, that are not from our communities, that are not we're not born into our communities, don't understand our lived experience, saying, don't worry, you guys, we got this. We know what you need.
Let me just hold you up a minute, because I know you got a lot of stuff to tell our folks. We're going to take a little break right now. This is Speaking About. My name is Haywood Fennell. We're not taking a break now. Thank you so much for interrupting our flow. But we'll right back to where we were. And you were talking about the dynamics to bring about less of our young people.
Yeah, I mean, look, conversations about race and racism are uncomfortable.
Right.
And what I think and know, my life has been leading to this moment. I love to say I'm fluent in white Irish male, right? My father is a 70-year-old white Irish male. He was born and raised in Boston, lived in the housing projects, enrolled in the Navy, was a corpsman, went to Vietnam, was a corrections officer, and served 40 years in Boston public schools. I understand the world that he came from. I was raised in it. I understand the love that he has for his country, that he served it, but I also understand other people in my life's experience. My younger brothers who have unfortunately come into contact with the criminal justice system, and they are treated far differently than my father was or his brothers were when they saw the police, that are overwhelmingly Irish, not all, but there are just different lived experiences, and they are both inside of me. So I come to this job with not only the legal acumen that you need and the management skills, which I hope we talk about. The DA's office is 275 people, 150 of them lawyers, budget of $20 million, 34,000 cases a year. When you have these other candidates on, don't listen to what they're promising they'll do. Ask them, how many people have you ever managed before? And they'll dodge and they'll weave and, well, it's not about, no.
I want to interrupt you because right now I don't want to project what my questions are going to be for the other candidates, because right now we have the opportunity to talk to you and figure out how we can get a more informed audience and your conversation about what it is that you're going to do, because we need change in the district attorney's office. We really do.
Right, and my point is that if you've never managed anyone before, you can sit here and talk about change.
You have managed before.
I have managed over 150 people as the first female general counsel in the history of the MBTA, as the first person of color to ever be the general counsel of the Mass Department of Transportation, and I was the head lawyer for Massport. Not a lawyer, the lawyer for all of those organizations. So MassDOT and the T, 10,000
So they didn't just give you that, you earned that.
I earn everything I do.
Right.
Every single thing I've ever gotten in my life, I've earned.
Right.
And what I can tell you is I supervised over 150 people, many of them lawyers. So it does not matter if people say I want change. I can say that. If I don't get those 275 people in the DA's office to change, I can scream till my face is blue. I have to make sure that they're doing it, or if you've, I've fired and hired before, I've done downsizing of departments, we're gonna have to look and see who's staying in this office and who's leaving.
We definitely have to do something with the infrastructure there. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay, so when's the date?
The date of the election is September 4th. It's Tuesday, the day after Labor Day.
Hold the thought. Are we taking a break now? Is that what you were saying? You're confusing me because you keep doing this. Okay, thank you. All right, now look, brown, black, social aspects, brown males, black males, all males, right? What is it that you would do to deal with the brown population of, people coming through the court system to make them believe that they can get a better deal than they've been getting when they go through the court system? Because when you go in there, a lot of the young people, and I go in the court system to see if I can help somebody because somebody helped me. It seems as though they are overwhelmed with having a query, a lot of them. Mm-hmm. The charge is such that it could be negotiated more fairly than it is with the probation stipulations about getting a job, and you have a query and it's hard getting a job, and that brings about a more lax view of sticking to a query. Probation requirements. How are you going to, have you thought about plea bargaining and stuff like that?
Yeah, so when you look at a website and you see who the person is that runs the organization, and then there's no information about who reports up to them, or every assistant district attorney you ever see in court overwhelmingly is white and young, and you are not either of those things, and you walk into a courtroom, and the more serious your crime, you start in district courts, which do have some diversity in the judges there, and I was fortunate to be appointed to the Judicial Nominating Commission by Governor Patrick, so I know a lot of these judges because I was one of the people that vetted them. But as you get higher and higher in the system, Superior Court, Appeals Court, Supreme Judicial Court, it's less and less diverse. And you believe, there are things where perception matters. If you walk in and every single probation officer is white and every prosecutor is white and your CPCS defense attorney is white and the only brown or black people you see are the ones that are in the jumpsuits or waiting to be called out for their initial appearance or arraignment, you don't have faith in the system. What I can tell you is there will be a massive turnover when I win on September 4th, because there are candidates in this race that have the full backing of the sitting district attorney, mm-hmm. all of the assistant district attorneys in the office, and law enforcement, because they don't want change. They want it to continue exactly the way it is. Mm-hmm. When I win, they're going to know there's change. I think there'll be a lot of voluntary, retirements or people will be leaving to look for other positions. But I believe there are good people in that office, and they will be trained on implicit bias. They will be trained on trauma and violence. They will be trained on immigration consequences of their charging decisions. They will be trained on the impacts of incarceration, collateral consequences. Those are all the things I feel like we need to make sure our assistant district attorneys know.
Let me ask you another question. With all your experience and what you're facing and who you're challenging and what you're challenging is courageous, to say the least. But you're talking about changing a system that has been in place for quite some time. Where do you see the resistance coming from?
There will be resistance, but we already have a movement that started. Nationally, we can look around, look at what just happened in St. Louis, right? Did you see that there's a black man who is now the St. Louis state's attorney for the same township that Ferguson, the Micheaux Browne homicide happened in, and that prosecutor that had been in that role for, I think, 7 terms, who refused to charge the police officer, who refused to recuse himself. Nationally, we're seeing changes in Cook County, Chicago. Black woman Kim Fox just became the state's attorney there. Larry Krasner, white civil rights attorney in Philadelphia. We're seeing nationally people being way more active in criminal justice matters and wanting to see change in this role. That's number one. Locally, Haywood, we have a legislature that has just enacted or passed a sweeping criminal justice reform bill. They've already changed a lot of the laws to get us moving in the right direction. And the governor signed that into law, okay? And so there are entire sections of those laws that are specifically set up to stop the school to prison pipeline, are specifically set up to repeal and stop mandatory minimums for certain drugs, are specifically set up to make sure that when you are a primary caretaker of a child, overwhelmingly women, but men do as well, that the court has to take that into account in certain circumstances. That if you are poor or indigent and can't afford your bail, as a result of Justice Jerry Hines from Roxbury, the first black woman, and Jerry is endorsing our campaign, so I'm very, very lucky. She wrote the Brangen decision that is codified in this new law, that essentially when you're, the court must look at your ability to pay when they're determining what your bail is. These seem like fundamental rights, and it shouldn't have taken an act of the legislature or a Supreme Judicial Court opinion to do it. It's the right thing to do. But what's wonderful is I'm emboldened now with our laws and with our movement to start changing this. Who's going to oppose me? The police are not going to be very happy about it. I can assure you that the establishment loves having, I believe, people that are just like them in power because they can control them, because they won't hold them accountable, because it will be the status quo. And in the status quo, those communities often win, are benefited.
Let me ask you this question, because you seem to have a groundswell, if you will, of supporters now. I'm seeing your posters in little places and big places, and so you see a lot of support for what you're talking about.
You bet. And what I'm most proud of, so there are some people in the race that have no endorsements or support. There are some people that only have elected officials. There are some people that only have law enforcement, and there are some people that only have unions. What I love is I have unions, I have wards, I have law enforcement. The MBTA Police Association endorsed me, and I was management, that's the union, showing that I'm fair, I'm firm but fair. I love that I have all different races of people, all different ages of people. Senator Brownsberger, I told you, a state senator. I have former Representative Marie St. Fleur. I have Boston City Council President Andrea Campbell. I have Boston Councilor Janey. People in Chelsea.
I get that, right. I get that. I was saving this question for you because I know you are committed to bringing about the change that we need in our community. Drugs. The circumference of death is now the Boston Medical Center jailhouse morgue in the same circle. You would not recognize your child from 6 months ago when you see them. Dudley Station, around the corner from Area B2. What would the district attorney say in terms of organizing, as this district attorney has not, to, talk about treatment, talking about substance abuse prevention, particularly to our young people? Because if you go to Roxbury Court, that's mostly what they deal with. Mm-hmm. I mean, like they're open, they run until 4 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Some courthouses are closed at 2:30.
Yeah, that's right.
So we got to deal with these drugs.
So I'm going to say two things. First of all, this issue is personal to me.
Yes.
I'm the oldest of 5 children. I have a sibling currently struggling with addiction, and as a result, I'm the guardian of family members, my nieces. I'm the guardian of them. There are real collateral consequences to this. Number one, and number two, I have said from the beginning what I'm happy about is that we now see this addiction as the health crisis that it is. But when it was black and brown people and it was heroin and crack in the 80s and 90s and 70s, nobody cared. It was criminalized. Our family members and loved ones were thrown in jail, and no one wanted to talk about the health crisis it was. So that goes back to my bigger issue of we aren't stupid. We see that when it was us, you didn't care, and now when you drive by Melnia Cass and Mass Ave, they aren't overwhelmingly black and brown. There are some for sure, but the reason why it's a health crisis is because it's now trickling into places like Winthrop and Winchester and the W towns of Weymouth and Waltham, and families that feel like this shouldn't be happening to us, this is terrible, we've given our children everything. What I want to do is get people that have struggled with those problems sitting next to me to come up with what the solutions are. I want to make sure that I'm advocating for beds and for services for people. Now, whether we agree with the bridge to Long Island or not, I want a facility and a place where we can bring people, instead of incarceration, with respect to them struggling. And I know it's not easy. I have family members that struggle with this. There are some times when people don't want the help that they desperately need.
Let me interrupt you again. I'm sorry. We're going to give you 1 minute to tell the folks why they should vote for you before we wrap up.
Excellent. I hope you vote on September 4th. I hope you vote for me. This position is too important for people to promise you what they are going to do without having proven results. I have been blessed in the Patrick administration to be the first female general counsel of the T, to head up Massport's entire legal department, to be appointed to the Judicial Nominating Commission. I have held incredibly important positions as the president of the Mass Black Lawyers Association. I currently serve as the chair of legal redress for the Boston branch of the NAACP. I have great relationships with the community, but I've also managed incredibly large groups of people, and I have a lived experience that is different than anyone else in this race. I have family members that have been incarcerated and struggled with addiction. I will bring that to work with me every day. Your family will be treated with dignity and respect in the process. I want this to be a job where people don't only look at the DA's office as a prosecuting arm, but also an employment center. We have 275 jobs there. 150 are lawyers. That means 125 of them aren't. I want our staff to reflect the rich diversity of Suffolk County. I hope you get involved in the campaign. We are right in Hyde Square and JP. Come by 376 Center Street. Rachael Rollins, I hope I've earned your vote. September 4th, please come out and support me. Thank you.
Well, we want to just once again encourage you to keep on plugging.
I will.
You know, we want to thank you for taking the time to come and be our guest on Speaking About.
You bet.
We'll be looking to hear more about your progress.
Yes, and
Folks,
thank you for your work.
we just want to once again say happy birthday to General Edward O. Gordine, and today is his birthday, August the 10th. We certainly hope that you've gotten something out of our show today. Want to again give a salute to all our veterans. We got another part of the show coming up, and once again we want to thank the upcoming the upcoming candidate for the district attorney's office.
Thank you
so
Freudian
much.
slip.
God
I hope
bless
it's
you.
true. I appreciate it.
Come on. Okay.
My soul just couldn't be content. Lord, my soul just couldn't be content. No, my soul just couldn't be content. Lord, till I found the Lord. Said I cried and I cried, cried all night long. Lord, I cried and I cried till I found the Lord. My soul just couldn't be content. Lord, my soul just couldn't be content. Oh, my soul. Somebody said Monday, I found Jesus. When they found the Lord, I found the Lord. Somebody said Tuesday, I found Jesus.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now? Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. Changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Down the line. All right. We ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, wow. Back again, August the 10th, speaking about the second half. Boy, oh boy. I'm telling you, we've been so proud of this young lady. She's doing such a wonderful job with what she does. She's a good friend. She's a mother now. She had a son, you know, so that's a lot of fun, having a son, you know. And she's young, he's young. She's doing things. I'm talking about Latoya Robinson. Welcome to Speaking About, my dear.
Thank you very much for
How
having
have
me.
you been?
I have been good, very
Yes.
good. But as you said, I'm a mom now, so
Yes.
tired and busy,
That's good.
but
That's
still
good.
doing
And
well.
we also have our good friend and colleague, principal of the Oscar Micheaux Family Theater Program, doing a lot of work for us, the host of Tyree Brown Uptown with Tyree Brown.
Going uptown with Uptown Browne.
Okay, straighten me out. I don't mind the straightening.
Going uptown.
I don't mind the straightening.
It's like a family reunion.
Yes,
yes,
it is.
Before we
This is gonna be
get too
fun.
far, we just want to know about how you've been and what you've been doing, because you left us, you was going to school and then
Yes.
you came back with a baby.
Yes, I know. I know, right? So I finished school. I actually just graduated this semester.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I recently passed my MTEL. I took my teacher licensure. So I'm going to be teaching theater starting in September. So I've kind of taken on like a whole, actually it's not really a new path.
Yes, no,
I've
no.
always been an educator.
That's right.
Yeah, but I was in the classroom earlier in my career, and then I was an administrator, so now I'm going back into the classroom, teaching what I love and
Right,
part
so
of what I
that's
do.
a big difference that you love it.
No, absolutely,
Right,
absolutely,
yes,
yeah. So it's a beautiful thing. While I guess I was pregnant and working, I finished my second book,
Okay.
which is this one here, which is The Essence of My Totality. That's volume 2, and then we have The Essence of My Totality, volume 1, because I am also a poet. So I'm a poet, I'm an actress, I'm an educator, performer. Those are the things that I really stick to. And I also have created a new radio show that I do every Friday night if people are so interested. It's called Soulful. It's on WEMF radio. It's online radio. So all you got to do is log on to WEMFradio.com every Friday night, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
2 hours. Wow.
Yeah, 2 hours. So it's all about things that I love, soul music, poetry, and great conversations with my co-hosts.
Got, and you can step in if you want to, Tyree, because we all family here.
That's right.
But your interest in theater, how did that come about?
Man, I think my interest in theater probably came about like through birth. So I'm the youngest in my family, and I always found myself like entertaining the family, right? You know what I mean? Like not anything purposefully, like we'll be like family dinners and everybody's.
That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's kind of just like sitting around the table, hanging out, music's coming on, and I'm singing and dancing in the corner. I don't know. It's just something that's always really been in me.
Right.
And then through high school, I participated in like the drama group. I was in a couple of productions. Yes, Miss Lombardo.
Yeah.
She was. She was an amazing. Yes, because me and Tyree went to high school together, and actually she was the woman who told me, she goes, if you don't have a life in the arts, you're gonna feel like you wasted your life.
That's true.
And she was right. She was 100%, and I think about her all the time. It's funny that you said that. Yeah, so she pushed me a lot to be on stage. I was in the productions, and so it was almost inevitable that I had a life in theater.
Right. And speaking about Mrs. Lombardo, I was telling Brother Haywood the other day, like after the West Side Story, remember we did West Side Story? That was my junior year.
Yep.
So the senior year, Mrs. Lombardo wanted me to star as Tom Sawyer's friend, the black slave.
Okay.
And they had a play around him, but I couldn't do it due to certain issues. And, but she really had faith in me too. And Mrs. Lombardo was one of the greatest drama teachers I had. And she encouraged me to continue on with theater too.
She may have seen that as a challenge, that role that would improve your character around, you're having issues around playing that part of a slave and with all the connotations that were involved.
And especially at the school that we were at,
Right.
right? It was a very small population of black people that were there. So why not give you this opportunity?
Right,
Right?
that you didn't see as
show
an
yourself.
opportunity.
Exactly.
You're right, to bring it full circle.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, that's what it's all about. And now you have, speaking of full circle, and now you have gotten your degree. Where will you be teaching? Have you
So
found
I'm going
a school?
to be I'm going to be teaching actually at Breed Middle School. It's in Lynn. I'm super excited about this because I have done a couple of freelance theater directing jobs. I've done some stuff for Boston Center for Youth and Families, and I did some work down in Rhode Island with another out-of-school time
I
organization.
think we did come to see
down there. When I did, for BCYF. We guys came to the Wiz, right? When I did, the Wiz. That was awesome with the kids. And then I actually did my first musical this past winter. It was a show called We Has Jazz. And it was in an all-inclusive school, so some of the students were like non-mobile, non-verbal, and you have like your regular ed students all together, and it was teaching them all about jazz, and I really, really enjoy it. We had like little Louis Armstrongs.
We were really talking about potential, interest, direction, and so when you told me that, Brother Haywood, I'm going back to school, I felt so good. And not only did I feel good, Tabby, right, but the fact that you did so well.
Thank you.
And then you didn't forget us.
How could I?
You know what I mean? Because she brought us to Bunker Hill a couple of times.
Exactly. And you guys came and blew their minds. I mean, first of all, I just want to say thank you. I mean, I get that random message from Tyree, and I hadn't heard. We went to high school together.
That's true.
But before Tyree sent me that random message, would you like to audition to play Zora Neale Hurston? And I'm like, first of all, it's my favorite author. Yes, I'd like to audition. And so so I came right on board, and so I enjoyed working with you guys and the wonderful spirits that you guys have as part
Yes.
of the Oscar Micheaux Family Theater program. You guys like just welcome me in with open arms. So
Yeah,
that
the
was a
thing-
no-brainer.
What's the thing though, you know, like we have, through your support and that of your family, your grandparents being community leaders, this is how we are able to get to where we are. Because you can't get to a good place by yourself. I keep telling people that.
No.
You know,
It takes a village, that's
you,
what they say.
You're now getting ready to go into the world and bring in young people to better define themselves. We know that theater is pretending, it's not pretense. So we know this.
But it can teach you
Yes.
how to step into the world and hold on to that confidence.
Yes.
And that's what I love about theater, especially when you're teaching it to young people. Because sometimes you get these young kids and they're like, no, I'm too shy, I can't, on the sidelines. And then those lights hit them and they're like, whoa, you know, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
this
yeah.
almost like this transformation.
Right,
And I understand that transformation. I mean, a lot of people, I really am an introvert and nobody ever believes me. It's a reason I write poetry. I'm not the greatest person in a crowd. I kind of like get nervous myself. But the one thing that theater taught me is that you still have to be like confident about yourself and you still have to, you know, articulate and speak clearly
Yes,
and make sure
yes.
that you're, you know,
Right.
you're communicating and collaborating with people well. And I think that's the one thing that I love about theater, that it may be pretending on stage, but it can teach you so much confidence off stage that you just carry it with you all the time.
I just want to, you know, like let our viewing audience know that this is speaking about, and I am so honored to have today two people that have inspired me to believe that we can achieve together. I have exceptional two people, two friends, Latoya Robinson, Tyree S. Brown with an E. These people are the archetypes of community-based theater and its growth. You know, and you need to understand that this is leadership. Even though Latoya says she's like an introvert, she may have elements of being an introvert. But when you take on the task of directing, that's leadership. Tyree is phenomenal in his approach with our cast and new people coming to audition by instilling confidence. Because we're not giving anything away. We're going to give you something, but you got to give something back. And that's what it's all about, and that's what Latoya has done. She has gone back to school. I mean, look, you don't have to be an actor to go back to school, but if you got a dream, you got to have the tools to make it become the dream and not be living a nightmare.
Basically.
We love you. Love both of y'all. You know, you're going to come back here with another book. Man, I'm really happy about that, man.
You didn't know I had the second book?
No, you didn't tell me. I got to like pry stuff out of you.
No, you know what it is?
There it
It's
is.
really
There
hard.
it is.
Oh, that's the first one, actually.
Yeah, but we take that too.
Take that, yeah. So there's volume, that's volume 2.
I have
That's
that
the
book. I
second
gotta
one.
get the second
Thank you,
one.
yeah. So the second one is strictly about my love of writing.
Yes.
I can't,
Tell
theater
us a
is
little
great.
bit about that.
Everything is great. I have to write. Like I have to create. It's one of the reasons also too that I started my radio show.
Right.
It's very important for me to have some place as an outlet to kind of write things out and talk to people and just like express how I feel. Because you can't just walk around talking about how you feel all day. Not everybody. Yeah, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to have some
people
place.
can identify with your writing too.
Yeah, so you have to have
it's
some place to
important.
put it. So I decided to put the first one together. It's all about poems about either writing or the process of writing or something that I wrote that just made me feel amazing.
Is there any workshops down the line in the future?
You know what? There just may be. Actually, more, not necessarily workshops on writing, because the poetry is like, it's my
Yours?
diary. That's what these are. This is me offering my diary to people, which is like, it's really scary, actually. So I'm very,
But I'm about to ask her to share one of her poems in a second.
Why not?
I mean, I could do that.
Don't you do that?
let me see. I was thinking, so do you want me to share something from the book or
Yeah, from
just
the book.
something else?
Yeah, no, it's just
Something from the book?
From the book.
So
All right.
people can get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so fair enough. So let's see. What would
Are you on
be-
Amazon?
I am. So if people are interested, they can find The Essence of My Totality Volume 2 on Amazon.com, or you can also go to my website, which is www.ltrunlimited.com.
Say
And why
that
not get
again.
two? You get a package deal if you get two.
Yeah.
All right? I give discounts for buying both.
But say your website again. What is your website?
ltrunlimited.com.
Okay.
Yep.
I want to make sure they got that so they can
Yes.
possibly show it up.
Thank
on
you.
film.
Thank you. Yep. ltrunlimited.com, and you guys
And
can
you're
order
going
it there.
to share something with us.
So yeah, so I'll share C. It's a poem that I've shared before, but I think that C kind of speaks to me. Actually, I'm lying. I'm going to share I Indulge My Passions, just because I've shared C before. So, So this one's called I Indulge My Passions because I do, but like I should. So, I indulge my passions in a fashion most others don't, but less seldom than those who don't know how to draw a line which is quite fine but still real all the same. Balance is key. Light within the darkness and shade within the light are always viable possibilities. My life has been lived consistently on the precipice of two sides, two worlds that will never collide, two worlds side by side in which I hurdle, straddle, or stand on either side of, never choosing one, always searching for proper footing, which is necessary in a life indulged by passions. Equilibrium becomes an action, so complacency does not. Art, it's a great distraction, no matter where I reside. A portrait of words vertically placed. Otherwise, I consistently build supplies right beside the line at either side in case I need to make a quick decision. But if you look real close, you'll see there's a small incision right on the line, ready to engulf my supplies for when I decide to stream. Choose one route, instead of dancing about waiting for one to choose me. My passions, they're intense, I know. I live with intent to grow nonetheless. And so, I indulge my passions in a fashion most others don't, but less seldom than those who don't know how to draw a line which is quite fine, but still real all the same.
Wow.
So don't be afraid to indulge your passions.
That's right.
I like that.
Just don't go overboard is the point.
We do have a line. Right, I got it.
I got it too.
I was talking with Tyree. I was talking with Tyree about his, or rather he was talking to me about when he was on the Cape. Tell us about that situation when you were talking about Frederick Douglass.
Oh yeah, so 4th of July weekend I was down at the Cape, and then I'm just hanging around, and then my aunt encouraged me. I mean, not my aunt, my cousin encouraged me to be a part of the reading of Frederick Douglass's 4th of July.
Okay, nice.
So we had a whole reading. We had about 27 different people read a good stanza of his play, of his speech, and once I got up there, I felt his words, and I felt like I was Frederick Douglass. Yeah, it was so powerful. And then I just started oohs, ahs, because I'm an actor, so I put it out there, because that's how I felt, because I read the lines that I was supposed to read, sunk it into my head, and then I just went out there and just backed out, and I just did it. And it's just now I just want to bring that into Boston, have a big event, hopefully, and probably in front of the museum, the Big Head Museum on Walnut Avenue, and we could just do the reading on 4th of July.
I'm with it.
And that's something that I would love to bring to the community. And also, I usually play Langston Hughes now, so now I'm rereading the Frederick Douglass autobiography, and I'm going to really try
to embody that?
Yes,
Nice.
yes.
Nice.
So next time, you may see Frederick Douglass up here instead of Langston Hughes.
Folks, you see what kind of talent that we have here in Boston. It's ready to take wings and go anywhere, everywhere. sharing because we care about who we are. Latoya Robinson, Tyree S. Brown with an E, were my guests today. Both of them have performed in the Oscar Micheaux Family Theater program and are principals, meaning that they've been there and performed more than one time. We're really grateful to you, and to you too, for keeping it flowing and growing. You know, we're looking forward to working with you and Glenn. We're looking forward to meeting the future Latoya Robinsons at that school, because they will have someone in which to emulate.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and it's all about telling the truth. If it don't belong to you, don't steal it. You wrote that. That's you. No doubt about it. I felt that. And I'm going to ask folks to support you. Say that webpage again.
Thank you. LTRunlimited.com.
And we want to thank you for being a part of Speaking About Today. We also want to thank those brothers, the Gospel Encouragers.
Gospel Encouragers.
For the song that we use from their CD. We'll be back up there to see them, and we want all our cast members to be on time tomorrow because we've extended our rehearsal period. We're going to be going up in October, and we just want to thank the staff here for helping us. And we want to close with a picture of Latoya with our director, our sister Monica Anderson Spencer. Folks, if anything, be good to yourself. Say a prayer for everybody. Thank you so much again, Latoya, for being our guest today.
No problem.
We're looking forward.
And you know what, too, Brother Haywood? Before we leave, I can't wait to get to Vaughn's Fish Market.
We're going to go to Vaughn's and get us a fish sandwich.
Fish and chips.
We're on our way.
Can I tell people to
Thanks,
check me out tonight,
everybody.
too?
Oh, yeah.
Check out Soulful tonight, WEMF Radio. 9
Oh,
p.m.
yeah, of course.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. And I'll be live on Facebook.
And then check out Going Uptown with Uptown Browne, Tuesday, between the hours of 7 to 8 p.m. This Tuesday, I will have James McKee with me, and we'll be talking about his upcoming event.
Don't forget to vote, folks. Don't forget to vote.
Let me tell you, I found the Lord. Somebody said